Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this President's Day. It's Monday, February 16th. The city of Starbase will consider this week annexing over 7,100 acres of land into its city limits. The city at the site of SpaceX rocket company near Brownsville was officially created last year following an election. Its residents are nearly all SpaceX employees. The proposal includes annexing land owned by the federal government, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, and private owners. The Starbase City Commission will also consider potentially expanding its jurisdiction nearly 40 more acres. Nueces County Precinct 4 Commissioner Brent Chesney told 3 News the Hall Pier reconstruction project is expected to be done under budget. That's with extensive construction efforts added in. The pier is set to open to the public next Tuesday. Hall Pier will be open to the public for free for the first 90 days.
It will be a continued construction site because we will be building the restaurant in addition to the pier. So there will be some things that'll have to be logistically worked out to where people can have, unfettered access. But we anticipate that. The contractor doing the restaurant knows that. That's not going to slow anything down from people getting on the pier either. It's just going to be, hey, if somebody's moving a piece of equipment and they need you to stop for a minute, just like road work, you need to stop and let them move over. But it's not going to delay or it's not going to deny anybody any access during this period of time.
That was Chesney speaking with 3 News. Some construction will continue, including the removal of the secondary trestle used during the project. He also said that the construction will not prevent people from visiting the pier. The Victoria County Animal Control Service's new location is now open. 25 News Now reports the new building has more space, better housing for dogs, classrooms for workshops, and a new low water in wall vacuum and sanitation system that makes cleanup and sanitizing easier.
We heard from a lot of our communities over the years that it's too far away. If you guys were closer, we would be able to get to you guys. And so just being here closer to the community, the surrounding area, it's a lot better. That
was interim Victoria County Animal Control Director Joe Hernandez speaking with 25 News Now. The new services location is at 513 Prophet Drive, less than a half mile from Victoria Independent School District's administration building. The Rio Grande Valley Business Journal reports that the valley's economy slowed down last year, but it's expected to pick up in 2026. That's according to a new analysis by researchers at the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. In 2025, the valley only added a small number of jobs, but by comparison, most major metros in the state lost jobs in 2025. Valley jobs grew 0.2% in 2025 compared to 1.2% in 2024. The Rio Grande Valley Business Journal is in partnership with KEDT. And in sports, the Corpus Christi IceRays swept the Odessa Jackalopes in both games over the weekend. The IceRays won 3-2 on Friday in Odessa and then 6-5 on Saturday. They maintained their grip on the 4th place spot in the North American Hockey League's South Division standings. And the Texas A&M University Corpus Christi Islanders baseball team showcased dominance to kick off their season. They outscored the Stonehill College Skyhawks by a combined total of 45-15 across 4 games over the weekend. They scored at least 11 runs in every contest, marking the first time in program history that the team plated 10 or more in each of its first 4 games to open any single season. That surpassed the previous top streak of 3, which happened during a sweep of Texas Southern back in 2006. By the way, that is 2 years before current head coach Scott Malone took the reins. The Islanders will be in action this coming weekend at the Clayburgh Bank College Classic at Whataburger Field. They'll take on Cal State Bakersfield, Long Beach State, and the University of Pittsburgh. Early voting for Texas's party primaries begins tomorrow. In this election, voters will be able to choose their favorite candidate for federal, state, and local seats. The Texas Newsroom's Blaze Gainey has more.
Texas voters have 2 weeks to vote early in either the state's Democratic or Republican primary. This election determines which candidates will represent their party on the ballot during the general election in November. Texas Secretary of State Jane Nelson is encouraging voters to make sure they have everything they need before heading to the polls.
I encourage voters to take a few minutes to prepare by visiting votetexas.gov. On the website, you will find ID requirements, hours, and polling locations in your county and more.
Early voting runs through Friday, February 27th, and Election Day is on March 3rd. I'm Blaze Gainey in Austin.
It's been 5 years since Texas saw massive blackouts during a winter storm that swept the state. Since then, the state has worked to strengthen its grid. But as Houston Public Media's Natalie Weber tells us, challenges remain as the state sees growing energy demand and aging infrastructure.
Millions of Texans were left without power during the storm as the state's power grid struggled under freezing conditions. At least 246 people died, and the storm is estimated to have caused hundreds of billions of dollars in damages to the Texas economy. Houston resident Sade Hogue was 5 months pregnant when her home lost power. Hogue and her family went to stay with relatives who still had electricity. Then, a few days later, they also lost power.
Not only are you worried about you, but you're worried about the unborn child because you don't know what the effects of this freeze is doing to the child as well.
Texas is unique in that it operates an isolated power grid. Only pockets of the state are connected to other parts of the U.S.'s eastern and western grids. Several of the state's power plants started to fail on February 13th, as they were not designed to withstand extreme winter weather. Grid operators were forced to initiate rolling blackouts. In the 5 years since then, the state has taken steps to harden its power grid.
Texas has a lot more protection built into the system than we did a few years ago.
That's Matt Baums with the Texas Advanced Energy Business Alliance, a coalition of energy companies. He says the state has implemented stringent standards to ensure power plants can withstand winter weather. Texas added more batteries to help increase energy supply when demand peaks. Baums says all of these factors helped the state's power grid remain stable throughout a winter storm last month.
I would say it wasn't one silver bullet, but it was really those layers of reliability.
Will McAdams previously served on the state's Public Utility Commission, which implemented fines of up to $1 million per day per violation of the new power plant standards.
Those are significant penalties that are consistent with federal penalty structures in other regulated areas.
Still, the state is grappling with aging infrastructure and growing energy demand. Energy consultant Beth Garza says the state's new winterization standards are a work in progress.
It has to get cold for you to understand where the vulnerabilities are. So that, in some respects, is an ongoing practice and process.
For many Texans, memories of the 2021 freeze still linger.
You're always in fear. You don't know, if you're going to be okay, if your family's going to be okay. So you want to make sure everything is safe and you try to over-prepare.
As the state says it's better equipped to face winter storms, Texans want to make sure they're prepared too. That's what Sade Hogue did last month. Before the January freeze, she stocked up on tuna, bread, and extra bottled water. I'm Natalie Weber in Houston.
And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.